You guys have been on fire with these amazing questions, so post some more down below. And before we get started, I want to know something. France or Croatia? Let's see what you got to say down below. Let's begin. When does bear mode turn into full-on fat? Well, you pretty much answered it yourself. When you're fat. Bear mode is about being in a fluffier state. I've identified that range to be 15 to 20% body fat. If you're obese and hairy, that's not bear mode. Just because you got muscle and hair doesn't render you as bear mode. That's fat mode. Big difference. So bear mode becomes too much when you have a gut. If you turn sideways and you have an actual gut, a pot belly, you've done it. Like you're past that point. The worst you should have is a little bulge. At the very worst. Or like flat stomach without visible six-pack abs. It's called being in a fluffier state, not in a fat state. If you're too fat, something else. When I do farmer walks, do I focus on my traps or forearms? Focus on getting from point A to point B, hitting the distance that you desire. Your traps and forearms will automatically get worked. It's a compound movement. It's like saying, hey, when I do bench press, should I focus more on my shoulders or my chest? Use correct form, and the rest will happen by itself. If you have muscular weaknesses, then you can take care of that later. With the farmer walk, I don't know which version you're talking about. You're referring to the actual implements. Those are quite thick, very, very challenging, so you might feel your forearms more than traps, but limited in how much weight you could use. If using thin handles, well, maybe you can feel your traps more. It doesn't really matter so much. Focus on using correct form, being tight, getting from point A to point B, getting your sets in. You're going to be fine, okay? Both are going to grow indirectly anyway. How would you approach weight training if you only had dumbbells that go up to 30 pounds each? How should I structure my program? Pretty simple, my man. Use very, very high volume and exercises that are extremely challenging. For example, the one-arm Z-press. If you sit down on the floor, one dumbbell at a time, 60 pounds, bro, you can get a killer workout from that. If you do enough reps. Rest, pause, same thing. You can even incorporate calisthenics into the equation. You know you can build a good body without using weights? Well, you can still do that at home, right? So do your calisthenics workouts and then hit some volume work with the 30-pound dumbbells when you're really exhausted. For your biceps, you'll be fine with those 30-pounders. For the chest, you could do super high volume flies. That's an option right there. Shoulders, you can do a lot of rear delt stuff, a lot of side delt stuff. You're going to have to be very creative, in other words. But make use of volume and make the exercises difficult. Don't pick the easy variations, okay? Finally, I'd recommend that you incorporate bands. Get a pair of bands, man, and attach it to the dumbbells. So on your overhead pressing, for example, you can stand on the band or two bands, and now at the top, it's going to be 60, 70 pounds. So accommodating resistance could be used to benefit you. Is it normal to have an 18-inch neck flexed with no direct neck work? I say most people will not have a big neck unless they isolate it. Or if they already have a decent size, it could be bigger with direct work. I don't care who you are. I don't care how yoked you are. If you never trained your neck before, it can be bigger. Isolation work is key in becoming as yoked as possible. So you might have an 18-inch neck naturally. Congratulations. I wasn't so lucky in that case. And there are millions of lifters who aren't lucky either. You have professional bodybuilders with huge, huge arms, but sticks for necks. You see these guys in Men Physique all the time. 18, 19, some guys even 20-inch arms. Pencil necks. Very common. So you want to isolate. No question about it. And if you just happen to be one of those lucky individuals who got a big neck without doing anything, well, congratulations. But I think most people are better off with the work. I have teenagers who have bigger necks than bodybuilders on steroids because they're actually isolating their neck. We have high school athletes, okay, high school wrestlers with bigger necks than some of the best powerlifters in the world, okay? And some of these guys are natural too, whereas the powerlifters are on a bunch of drugs. So isolation is always going to be the best, my friends. When doing pull-ups, do I have to go all the way down and protract the scapula to get a better stretch? Or locking out my elbows is enough to hypertrophy your lats? Well, look, man, if you're getting stronger over time, the form is not the most important thing per se. Although I will say, yeah, maybe you want to do that. Protraction at the bottom. I like dead stop personally. So I'll hang all the way down, protract, and then redo the movement. I'll always do the scapular retraction first, and then I'll pull myself up. And then when the weight is like really, really heavy, sometimes I just say screw the form. I just pull with all my might. If you're getting stronger over time, you see your reps are going up, your weight is going up, you're good. Especially hypertrophy, which is a very general goal. You don't need to be overly specific or crazy with form in order to build big muscles. Are flies necessary to build your chest? They are not necessary. If you get a very strong bench press, very strong weighted dip, or even just doing high volume push-ups, you can get an elite chest. I'm talking like best of the best, really, really up there. They're not required. Could they be beneficial for some people? I suppose. When was the last time I did a fly? I don't remember. It's been a really, really long time. I don't do flies. I do bench press, weighted dips, and push-ups. And for me, that's enough for the chest. Could it be bigger if I isolated it? Maybe. But are they absolutely necessary 100%? No. Would you ever consider doing a full day of eating? I don't know, man. How is a full day of eating going to change your life? I just don't see the benefit in that type of content. I don't want this channel to be about me, okay? I want it to be about helping you. When I post training videos or I talk about my goals, it's just for someone to talk about and to inspire you and show you that what I'm doing works. But it's not about me. It's not Alexander Leonidas Fitness. It's Alpha Destiny. It's about fulfilling your destiny and becoming the best version of yourself. So, would a full day of eating benefit you? I don't know. I think you're better off receiving cooking tutorials. Me showing you how to make really healthy meals that are great at the same time for muscle building. I think that'd be more beneficial instead of me vlogging, hey guys, I'm going to show you my meals now. On top of that, I eat really late at night. I eat 1 or 2 meals max. I'm pretty much doing the OMAD thing. I think it's better for health. And I eat pretty similar on a day-to-day basis. So there's not much that I'd be able to show you here. I mean, I could do it. I could. But is that going to benefit you? I'm all about giving you value. I want to change your life in a meaningful way. And I see all these channels do the full day of eatings, and I don't resonate with it, man. I can't watch that stuff. And if you're anything like me, well, maybe it's not the best content for you, but I don't know, man. I'll listen to the viewers. What do you want? You want it? You want some Alpha Destiny style vlogging? I bet I could do something interesting. Maybe you'd like my personality, right? Who knows? Tell me what you want, and I'll consider. But it's not guaranteed, all right? Cleans for growth or carryover? Well, it's going to carry over to a bunch of sports. Cleans are very athletic in that sense. Now, in terms of growth, the traps. You can get some nice traps if you do a lot of cleans. So if you got the form down, I say give it a shot. Personally, I don't do cleans because my form is just not good. I always turn it into an upright row, and I find it's just too technical for me. But you do what benefits you. If you like the exercise, you're getting stronger at it, yeah, man, it's going to carry you over. You can get some bigger traps from it. Go ahead, do it. How often should someone use ammonia for maximum effect? Is it safe? Use ammonia once in a blue moon. I don't recommend it every single workout, man. Like at the max, it should be like once a week. I don't know. I'm not an ammonia expert. The only reason why I've used it is because I got it for free at the meet. I'm just making use of it as I go. But I do prefer the Wim Hof method. So if you want to max out, maybe you took a bunch of stims, so pre-workout, and use it. You want to hit your maximum PR? Okay, use it that one session and take a break from it. I say once in a blue moon, reserve it for those times where it's like you really want to do maximum amounts of weight. Now, as far as the safety of it, it's probably not the safest. That's why I will discontinue its usage. I mean, imagine if I use that over a long period of time. Is that the best for your health? Probably not. So reserve it for a once in a blue moon thing. Just like there are some guys who get pissed drunk once in a blue moon. Think of it like the same thing. Is there any way to do a DIY slingshot for us that can't currently get one? Yeah, there's a way, man. You're just going to need a band, okay? So take a band, okay? Put an 8. And then just shove your arms in like that. See that? Ooh, that's one way to do it. I think there are other tutorials on YouTube which show you how to do this, but that's just one little method. But it's never going to be the same as the real deal. It's going to be a lot more uncomfortable, and there's a risk as well. If the band slips, stuff like that. So do it at your own risk, all right? When should a lifter invest in straps, novice or intermediate? I would say intermediate. As a novice, you really won't have any grip issues. 9 out of 10 times when a guy says, man, I can't hold on to my rows or my deadlifts, it's because they're not using chalk. So if you're a novice, get yourself some chalk, and you shouldn't have any grip issues. You should be doing double overhand rows with 2 plates, no problem, without grip difficulties, okay? Same thing for your deadlifts. You should be hitting great numbers. You can hit the intermediate stage. You can even hit advanced numbers without using straps. So don't use them. You just don't have to unless you're using a program which includes higher exercise selection. But on a standard novice routine, maybe doing a deadlift once or twice a week, you're rowing twice a week, whatever. I mean, you don't need straps, man. Just do a chalk. You're good. Is the Rocky one-arm pull-up an effective movement? I'm able to do 40 to 45 for 3 reps, but can't do a single rep for the one-arm pull-up, can barely hold the starting position. So it is even useful for building the one-arm pull-up. Well, I think you answered your own question, my man. You're doing 45 pounds on the Rocky style, which is when you grab it like that. It's clearly not working for you. Just think about it. Does that make the exercise worthless? No. Just because it does not carry over to the standard one-arm pull-up for you, doesn't make it worthless. You started at what? Body weight? Now you're doing 45 pounds? That's progress. You need to watch my videos that I made about carryover. It's the greatest misconception that exists in the fitness community when talking about strength training, that it has to carry over. No. That's just biased dogma. Has no place, okay? If you're getting stronger, you will get bigger. And obviously, you're making progress. So keep doing that lift, man. There are obviously benefits, but if you want to get better at the one-arm pull-up, well, do some other stuff, obviously. I have decent body fat. I would say 18 to 20%. I don't have a good appetite, and I don't want to force feed my calories. I get around 2,000 to 2,200 a day. I want to lose body fat, so should I just listen to my body and not eat, even though I don't reach my daily intake? Well, your question is kind of contradictory because you're saying that you're 18 to 20% body fat and that you have a small appetite, yet you want to lose weight, and you're eating like 2,000, 2,200 calories. Sounds to me like you're eating more than you think. Maybe you think you have a small appetite, but it's actually pretty average, or maybe a little bit above. I would sense that you're not calculating correctly. To be 18 to 20% body fat with a small appetite, I find that to be quite unlikely for a lot of people. So reevaluate what you're doing. Buy yourself a food scale. Maybe go on MyFitnessPal temporarily. Start scanning all your stuff. See if you're actually consuming what you say you're consuming. Because most people that I know with a small appetite are skinny, or they naturally have low body fat. In fact, some guys who sell fat loss programs, right? The real reason why they're lean year-round is because they have small appetites. Straight up. It's not because their system is super effective. It's because they barely eat. I've seen some of these guys eat in their full day of eatings. They eat all. Even when they go to a restaurant, they're eating super low quantities. So I would say that you're probably miscalculating. To be 18, 20% body fat, no, there's definitely something going on there, man. It doesn't make sense. You'd be having trouble losing weight with a small appetite, yet you're fluffy. You see why that's contradictory? So start calculating, my man, and that weight should shed off. Alex, what's your advice for us guys who have been lifting seriously for 1 year and a few months and want to get as yoked as soon as possible? Thank you. Well, if you've been lifting for a year and a few months, you're probably nearing the intermediate stage at this point. So that's a great sign. I would say, first of all, milk those novice gains as much as you possibly can, aka the linear progression. And once that stalls, run a program with higher exercise selection that emphasizes the yoke region. A good one would be naturally enhanced, just saying. But besides that, the number one thing that you can do right now is to work on your neck. Don't make the mistake that I and thousands of other lifters have done, to train all these years without isolating the neck. Big mistake. It's like guys who have been training 10 years, they never hit their calves. And they're like, damn, got to work on these calves now. That's the number one thing. Neck training will have the biggest impact on your physique if you're a natural. And it'll help you get yoked. The neck connects to the traps. And I find that movements like neck extensions build your upper back as well. So definitely start shooting that hard right now. And keep focusing on those linear gains. What are your thoughts on Hindu push-ups, Alex? I tried them today and they were killer. Well, they are killer. Oh yeah. Especially if you're doing it for high volume. You can get a nice physique with Hindu push-ups. That said, I know there was a guy named the Great Gamma who used to do a lot of push-ups and squats every single day, and he was an undefeated wrestling champion. Now, I don't know if they were Hindu push-ups or regular push-ups. Either way, Hindu push-ups are a great movement. So if the Great Gamma did it, you should probably do it too. I can do 50 reps of neck curls with 45-pound plate on my face. Yeah, my neck is still pretty small. Do you think it's because I'm cheating the weight, or I just need to trust the process and wait until I can do 90 for 100 reps to expect good results? Thank you so much. Definitely trust the process and consider measuring your neck. Is it as small as you think it is? Maybe it's decent. Maybe you just have a really fat face and it's making your neck look smaller. Maybe you have a beard that's covering it. So measure your neck, find out the actual circumference, and that'll give you a better idea. But I'll say this. If you trust that process and you build up doing 90 pounds for 100 repetitions with good form, you should have a nice neck. Just straight up, you should. So make sure that you're not pulling the plates, okay? And make sure that you focus on that neck, that mind-muscle connection, if you will. A good way to learn this is by doing the neck extension machine or the neck curl machine, or even just doing stuff with a harness where you can't use your hands to assist you. And try to disassociate your abs. Consider crossing your legs against the bench, man. Just focus on the neck, okay? Be light with your hands. That's the number one thing. And if you're doing high enough volume, man, you're going to get a big neck, okay? It's an easy area to grow. If I train every day and I feel fine, should I continue with it? I typically train 1.5, 2 hours a day. I never really feel worn down. Well, hey, man, if it's working for you, keep doing it. I don't know if you're a novice, intermediate, advanced, but it's working, right? Why do you need my confirmation? Maybe you're a genetic elite. Maybe you're managing your volume and intensity in a great way and you don't even realize it. I have no idea what you're doing. You haven't sent me your program. I don't even know where you're at or if your gains are actually legit like you're claiming. But I would say high frequency is a great option to make gains. And it works for naturals. So I don't know if you're doing like a full body every day. I don't know if you're doing a split routine every day. You weren't specific enough. But keep doing it. It's working for you. Keep at it. And if you plateau or you feel like you're going to get snapped up, switch it up. Can linear progression be followed with a higher rep range of 8 to 12? If yes, then how should the weight be increased? Yeah, of course. What do you think most people do in the gym? 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps. This is arguably the most common set and rep range of all time. And everybody does this. Basically, once you could get 3 sets of 12, 12, 12, you increase the weight. That's all there is to it. So if you start off with 12, 10, 8, then a few workouts later, you're getting 12, 12, 10, then you get 12, 12, 11, then 12, 12, 12. Well, congratulations, you increased the weight. Then you just add like 2.5 or 5 pounds. All there is to it. So basic linear progression it's time tested, and everybody in your gym does this intuitively. Will straps exacerbate the weak grip strength? In my opinion, no. If you do a lot of grip work on the side, you're going to be just fine. Perfectly fine. Most strongman competitors that I know use straps, but they also do a lot of grip work on the side. Or their accessories automatically hit it very hard. Check out my video that I did with Pete Rubish a while back, okay? Where he talked about how the straps improve his recovery, and then he just does grip work on the side and he's just fine. I did that a long time as well. I used mostly straps. My grip was fine. And my form development was fine as well, okay? As long as you're doing extra grip work on the side, you're going to be okay. Now, some guys are going to say, well, why not just do it strapless all the time? Well, for those people, I'm going to say, watch my video, why straps are awesome. What is your opinion on 10,000 steps a day in terms of health? Well, I think it's a good idea, man. I wouldn't really calculate the steps per se, but rather how much you're moving your body, period, you know? Are you sitting all the time? If so, you should be standing up a little bit more and consider doing daily walks. A great routine is to wake up in the morning, do a 10-minute walk. Then after your first meal, you do another 10-minute walk. And then at nighttime, you do another 10-minute walk. I learned about this one from Stan Efferding, actually. I don't agree with all his information in the vertical diet regarding health, but I think the walking is definitely a good habit to practice. So give that a shot. Do 10-minute walks. You will feel refreshed, and it's great for your health. And I know there are studies on this too. My legs have always looked awkward in slim jeans. Is there any exercises or anything that I can do combined with a calorie deficit to lose leg mass, specifically my thighs? Well, I'd recommend entering a calorie deficit for one, doing really, really low volume on your legs, choosing inefficient movements, get rid of your squats, get rid of your deadlifts, get rid of all the effective compound movements and just do little fluff and pump stuff with low volume and do a lot of steady state cardio. Okay, do a lot of cycling, jogging. Do more cardio than actual lifting. Maybe train your legs once a week, or once every 2 weeks, or once a freaking month. Or if you are going to train them hard, just keep the volume really, really, really low. And pick a movement like a pistol squat, you know? This way you still have decent performance, but you can get your legs to shrink a little bit. So try that out, man. Just be lazy as hell. What is your opinion on the cheat lateral raise with help from your traps? I think it's a great movement, man. You're still getting the negative. It's great to do if you want to hit some drop sets. So you do the cheat lateral raise first. Then you drop the dumbbells a little bit. Do it more and more strict, you know. Or you start off with the strict, and then you move on to cheat when you're fatigued. I like it, man. I like it a lot. Does me doing calisthenics while 50 pounds overweight count as weighted calisthenics? I would not count it weighted calisthenics. I would just say you're doing normal calisthenics in a fluffier state. Now, the benefit of doing this is that you will gain a lot of strength and size. And once you lean down, your performance is going to explode. You're going to put on a lot of muscle and strength this way because everything's harder for you. So do that. Milk those gains. Maybe you go in a calorie deficit at the same time. And you'll see, as your body leans out, you're just going to be getting stronger and stronger. I've heard a few people say that shrugs are bad because of the levator scapula overpower the muscles that retract the scapula. That can lead to bad posture and all sorts of problems. What's your opinion on that? My opinion is that most people are so weak at shrugs in the first place that this is not really an issue. I learned from Bill Starr many years ago that if you're benching 3 plates, your shrug should at least be in the 500s. And that's if you want proper shoulder health, okay? Most people are not even hitting anywhere near these numbers. They're shrugging in the 2s and the 3s. Some of the better guys are in the 4s, maybe 5s at the max. But you don't really see too many guys hitting super duper heavy shrugs. Unless, of course, they watch my yoke playlist, right? But in cases like that, I mean, if you're running a maximized program, these issues all go away. All this talk you hear about muscular imbalances, you know who has to worry about that? People who do low exercise programs where they're not hitting a variety of different movement patterns. If you're doing your rows, your mobility work, you're isolating, bro, you're not going to have problems. You won't, because you're balanced from head to toe. It's always the guys who run these minimalist programs who don't do any accessory work. And I know what some people are going to say now. What about the elites? I don't give a f*** what they do, okay? A lot of them are on a bunch of steroids, and they have supreme leverages, and they built their base many years ago doing some of these movements. And I still think, even in those cases, that they're better off doing some accessories and some goddamn mobility work, okay? So I don't care what they do. My advice is for the general population, and I would say most people can benefit from hitting other areas. So if you're not just doing shrugs, you're doing rows, you're doing other movements, this is not a problem, okay? So get your shrugs as strong as you want. Just make sure that you're doing enough volume in your rows and your rear delts and all the other stuff, okay? Don't worry about it. Last question of the week. As a student of medicine who's very knowledgeable in fitness and strength training, how would you recommend I use this knowledge to make a bit of money to pay off my student loan, knowing that I don't have a lot of free time? Thanks, Alex. Well, my friend, if you're very knowledgeable and you have a passion for fitness and you're a med student who knows what he's talking about, well, get over on Instagram. Instagram is the future. It's really positive there. The algorithm is on point. Start getting a following. Once you have about 500, maybe 1,000, you can actually make some money off it. The biggest lie you were taught is that you have to have thousands of followers to make a living. It's not true. It just means that you're going to have a higher income. What you need is scale. You got people all over the world, maybe 500,000 people who genuinely like your stuff. Well, at least one of those people is going to pay for your services, right? You can get like 10 clients out of that, right? You have 500 followers. You think you can't get 10 clients? Man, I think it's doable. You just need a little handful of people who are going to buy into your services. You can write them some programs. You can coach them one-on-one. You don't have to be rich off this. Extra money on the side, right? I mean, just look at guys like Louis Marco. He's coaching people full-time now. Doesn't have that many clients, but the ones that he does have, it gives him an income. So if you know what you're talking about, get over IG, start posting pictures of yourself, offer some value to the world, help people out. And then if you want to start taking on clients, go ahead and do that. Okay? So that said, hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A video. Post some more questions down below and I'll answer them all next week.